All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Mindvalley Storytellers. And this time, we have a very special panel here. And they call themselves the Three Amigos. And I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Kerry Fisher. And as always, our aim with this series is to bring to our community stories or more value to everybody that is watching us. And to present us, our three amigos, I will pass it to my beautiful and sexy co-host, Kerry Fisher.
Ooh, thank you for
Do your
adding
thing,
that.
do your
Sexy.
thing.
I brought my shoulders today for you guys because it's all men. So today we have three of my dear friends. I'm really excited. So I know the Three Amigos through the Lifebook app. I was very involved with them. Sometimes I think it's fortunate. Sometimes I think it's unfortunate. I've been very involved with them over the last year as we've created a lot of content on the Lifebook app. And we are spearheaded by the amazing Alex. I'm sure you guys all know Alex. Alex does the interviews with John and Missy. So let me start off saying hi to Alex. Hi, Alex. How are you today?
Hello, Kerry. I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too. And thank you for coming. Because sometimes when I ask him to do things, he says no. But today he said yes. So more yeses, less no's, Alex. And the next amigo is Sonny. Sonny, say hi.
Hello, everybody. And I'm a little disappointed, Kerry, that you didn't call us sexy like you were called sexy.
I didn't want to embarrass you, but you know how I feel about you.
I'll get over this, but it'll take me a while, okay?
I hope that you can recuperate. All right. And then my dear friend, Diego. Diego is amazing because I tried to call him Diego Tiara. I thought that's how you spelled his last name. And he said I had to change it and do it the right way, which is actually, it seems to be a habit of mine because when I first posted an event with Alex, I added an H to his last name. So don't always count on me when you are doing something with me to get your name right. You always want to double check that with me. So Diego, my brother, how are you today?
Hello, Kerry. Hello, everybody. I'm joined today from Singapore. My name is Diego. You can call me Diego or Diego as well. So my name, everybody is confused. So I am glad to be here today. Super
I'm so happy that you're here. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into it. So if you don't know the Three Amigos, you're going to know them really well because they're doing something really cool on the Mindvalley platform. So in Lifebook, they did this financial freedom series and they're bringing it to Mindvalley as a free service to the entire community. And it's a real game changer. I'm really excited for you guys to learn more about that. But before we start, I wanted to know, guys, tell me how you met and how the friendship began. Because although we're a big group of, what are we like, 15 of us, Alex, helping out at Lifebook, although there's a lot of us, some of us have gotten closer than others. So how did the connection start between you guys? Let's start with Sonny.
Well, I joined Lifebook just a little bit over a year ago. And very soon thereafter, Alex sort of invited me or allowed me, or however you want to put that, to kind of step up in a role called the financial area or financial category champion, which Diego already was. So I became a co-champion with Diego. So that's where Diego and I hit it off. We have a common interest and a common goal and common mission over on the Lifebook platform. And after Alex thrust me into this role, I soon discovered that Alex and I have some things in common as well in terms of interest in financial matters and how to get financially free, as well as fine whiskeys. And so altogether, the three of us have a lot in common, and we just love doing this kind of thing. We have a great time together. It's pretty much unscripted, so be careful, but it's also a lot of fun.
Did we freeze up for a second there, or was that me? Oh, mine froze. Okay. I see that it's unscripted. Try to steer clear of words like thrust, if you can. I was going the wrong direction there for a minute. You threw me off my game here. So try to keep me on track. All right. So, Sonny, I know that you guys have become so close, and it's really nice to see you guys because you guys are all really different. You're from different places in the world, and I love to see this. This is one of my favorite things about Mindvalley and Lifebook. So, Diego, let me go to you. How do you feel about Sonny when you first met him?
Yeah, I think the first time we met, we was talking very kind of deep inside regarding financials. That I think the first 10 minutes we already click it up together. Oh, you are my bro, but look like different. But we reconnected and we planned out all these kind of financial field fundamentals, as well as we went through with Alex and Sunny for quite some few months together. Whenever we was delivering, we have 1 hour pre-session that it was the most rewarding, the most joyful time that we spent. And that was nothing related with the delivery or the financial series, but talking about different things, chit chat, talking about whiskey and so on. So this is how the friendship built, and we connected each other. And I think that is the key also for the successful series that we've delivered to the Lifebook community. So I really love it. And I couldn't resist as well to offer them, let's do it again. I really have so much fun. So let's do it again for the Mindvalley tribe, because it's something that really can be transformative for many people, and financial is something very important in everybody's life. Yeah.
One of the things that we do try to do is we do try to have fun, because it is, honestly, there's no getting around it. It's not exactly the most exciting topic in the world, okay? But it's a very, very important topic. So by adding a spice of fun to it or whatnot, it kind of makes the topic a little more digestible. I hope you'll see that in our series.
Yeah, I don't really believe in having fun, so I personally don't appreciate that. I'm just kidding. I always like to have fun. So I just think it's so interesting because not only are you from different places, you're different ages, and you come from different backgrounds. And it's interesting because you could kind of hit like every single kind of person. Doesn't matter what age you are, there's always a moment that you can turn to your financial life. So Alex, I know you have had to deal with all of us for the last year, and I know that it's an unruly crowd sometimes, especially when you're trying to have a serious meeting. So tell me a little bit about, well, first of all, why am I not invited to those meetings? But that's a conversation for another day. You don't have to answer that.
Boys Club.
Oh, I'm so I'm like a guy. I think we could all agree with that. I mostly am a guy. All right. How do you know I wasn't a guy before? You never know. I might be one of those. All right, Alex, how do you feel about Sonny and Diego, and why did you decide to get more involved with them? Because you have a lot going on. We all know you from Mindvalley and Lifebook. So why did you choose to I almost said to get involved with these two bozos, but I'm too nice to say this. So why did you decide to get involved with these two guys?
No, because they're wonderful guys, first of all, right? So we clicked also immediately over our shared interest and our passion for talking about money. One of the things is within Lifebook, for those of you who took the course, there are 12 categories. The 9th category is the financial life. And we know that, for example, when people do the Lifebook introspect assessment and when they go through the course, roughly one out of four members will say that the area they want to increase is their financial life. So this is a statistic that we knew all along. And the thing is that we talk in Lifebook about this idea that there is no one-size-fits-all strategy for anyone in any area of life. And it is true, it's like up to us to find out what exactly is the thing that is going to work, right? And each of the categories is going to be highly different, like health and fitness, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, etc., etc. However, when it comes to financial life, it's something that also Sonny says many times, the path is very well known. The path in financial life is actually very well known. The fundamentals, the main pillars of achieving, first of all, increasing your financial education and ultimately achieving your version of financial independence or financial freedom, however you want to call it, those big steps, the pillars, those are very well known. right? They're not very, the path is known as not very well traveled, like Sonny says. But yeah, so we knew that there are a couple of fundamentals that we can talk about that can help people on their financial journey, and that's what triggered the series in the first place. Now, we didn't know that it was going to take us on a almost 5 or 6 month journey where we met every single week to talk. We had our friendly chit chat, and then we would deliver the session live in front of an audience, and it was seen by from the community, I think roughly 700 to 1,000 members overall. We had 60 to 80 people that actually showed up every single week during those live tapings, let's call them. And we got such amazing feedback at the end of that series, which brings us to the present moment when we said, hey, let's just do it one more time. Let's do it again in a live settings, but this time to the broader Mindvalley community.
That's so exciting. And thank you guys for taking the time to do that. So you guys, they do all of this for free. So they do this just from their heart as a service because they all believe in contribution. And let me move to Diego. Diego, let's go back. First of all, if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat, because after the interview part, we're definitely going to have questions from you guys. That's what we really want this to be, a little more interactive so you could get to know the guys, because they're going to be with you for 12 weeks. And I could attest, you can't get rid of them once they're in your life. So just get used to them now. But please put your questions in the chat. Just write a Q and then the question, and Ivan is going to be checking that out. So my next question for all of you, and we'll start with Diego, is what was it in your life that made you say to yourself, you know what, I really need to focus on my financial life? Go ahead, Diego.
Okay, in my case, I actually born in Argentina, so that is the third economy country, and my parents was working very hard.
Wait, where was it? Where was it?
Argentina.
Argentina. Okay.
Latin America.
Okay.
Yes, so I born there, and at the age of 14 years old, actually, my mother passed away because of this kind of heart attack of overworking. So overworking is something like, okay, I need to be careful about, because they was working 12 hours per day, summer, winter, on these days. Then we decided to go back to Japan because my father didn't want to stay there. The economy was not right, and then we moved back to Japan. When we, after selling all the assets, and there was very little, because the Japan economy was very expensive compared with Latin America. The currency was different. So he needs to actually work or fly away to different place to work for us to pay the university, the school. And in that time, after 2 years working very hard, he got also cancer. He got multiple operations because the same thing, overworking. He almost died for this kind of thing called karoshi, is overworking. And I was thinking, okay, the overworking is not for me, it needs to be something smarter. So I started to study about financials and trying to master it. So I took some financial planning things. And then the next year was when I started working, my sister got into big trouble on this debt. So it's again, money comes in. So I was lending money, but the issue wasn't gone, because this is everything like what you make. So, okay, I seriously took the leap of faith, and I need to master this money game, be smarter, and gain the financial literacy in order for me to get retire as soon as possible, so I can be in control of the money and not the money be in control of me. So this is something like was the starting. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that, to master the money mindset. That's a cool. What about you, Alex? Because you have a very interesting story about this too. What made you decide, you know what, I really need to get serious about this?
I mean, I come at it from a more ego-driven perspective. I just wanted to have total control over my time. I believe that time is the only non-renewable asset that we have. Therefore, anything that leads to total control over my time will be a path that should be pursued. And fundamentally, I just want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, without having some form of financial burden over me. Another way of thinking about it was that, like money can solve all of your money problems, but it will not solve anything. However, the absence of money also tends to create a lot more problems in all other areas of life. So those are a couple of thoughts that I had. And then one other one was that I actually didn't know what my goal was, or what I wanted to do. I didn't know exactly what my life vision was, the vision for my life, how we talk also about this in Life Book a lot. And for me, it seemed like being financially free gives you the most options possible. So in the absence of knowing a clear element, I was like, okay, let's focus relentlessly on achieving financial freedom, because then all other options become possible. And most likely in the pursuit of financial freedom, I will become a different person. And from the vantage point of somebody that will achieve that goal, I will see further. Therefore, more things will become available to me. So that's it's like an overall idea of this.
That's really cool. And every time Alex talks, I just write down everything he says. And then in my next call, I just say it and pretend I said it. You're so wise. So a lot of the stuff you hear me saying, I stole from him. So don't tell anyone. Don't tell Alex, especially. All right. So Sonny, what about you? So Diego wanted to master the money mindset. He wanted to become his own boss. Alex had a similar approach. He really wanted to do what he wanted, with whom he wanted, when he wanted, and he wanted to be the master of his time. What triggered it for you?
Well, before we get into that story, I have to correct one thing you said earlier. You called Diego and I bozos, but actually, I'm a fool. Okay, just get that straight right off the bat. So.
Never correct me again, please. I like that you're a fool, and when I call you one, don't be offended.
That's a compliment. That's a compliment. So anyway, my story is I came from grew up in the United States in a pretty poor state, the state of Kentucky, to an even poorer family, and so my memories about money were all negative. Father never made a very good salary, worked 6 days a week all of his life. Mom would sit on the couch when I came home from school, trying to balance the checkbook every single day, worried about this penny, that penny. And so that kind of informed, money was not a positive thing in my early childhood. And so when I grew up, got married, was working at the time in Manhattan, in New York City, the heart of the financial district of the United States, right? And I just happened to go to the library one day and I saw some books on finance. And I said, well, maybe it's time for me to, I was in my mid-30s at this time. So maybe it's time for me to pick this up and figure something out about this, although I had no idea about anything good about this, right? It was still sort of all this negative emotion about money. And I read the books, and the books are, of course, all over the map in terms of positive, negative, this opinion, that opinion. It's a confusing mess out there when you start reading about finances and investing. It is a mess. But gradually over time, I was able to figure out a path forward, and that path forward for me was investing in stocks. That was my path forward, and I basically paid a huge tuition in the School of Hard Knocks to kind of learn how to do this. But my motivation was first curiosity and intellectual stimulation of learning. I love doing that. And secondly, I just wanted to permanently change my family tree. Every branch of my family was dirt poor. And I just wanted to change that forever. And so I was able to use that as sort of a guiding motivation. I wanted to make sure that my daughters were not going to live in the same conditions that I lived in growing up. So that was my motivation. It took a long time to kind of take theory and put it into practice successfully over time. but now I think I've kind of figured that out.
That's really powerful. It's interesting because you guys all have very similar backgrounds. Guys, underneath the way we look on the outside, we're all the same. And I always want to point that out. So they all came from a disadvantaged or a poor background, and they decided for themselves that they would have it different for their families. Sonny, Keith and I have a different approach. We plan to spend every dollar of ours on a fun life and then leave the children with nothing. But don't tell them.
I'm only planning on leaving the children with knowledge, not money.
You know, it's funny, actually, if you look into, when I look into the people I admire the most, they actually are planning to do that.
Mhm.
Even the very, 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 the uber wealthy, they leave their children with a little bit of money, but they don't leave them with all the money. They put the money somewhere else to charity because they don't want to saddle their children with that. Because as we all know, a lot of times that does not end well. So it's super interesting. And I love the idea of leaving your children with knowledge. That's the greatest thing. And by the way, you guys, one of the things that bonds all four of us together is we all love learning. We all love, that's part of the reason that we all want to be financially free, because we want to have time. It's so boring, but just to sit with the book and learn more. All right. So let's move.
Kerry?
Yes.
Kerry, let me add on something about this knowledge that you was mentioning here. And it's really important to leave the knowledge, right? Knowledge to become financially free, to have this financial knowledge, as well as the mindset to be successful in life in the right meaning, not the society way. And that is going to be leaving the legacy for generations to come. But we need to start from us, which is the parents first, or you, everybody here. So once we master this game of the money, we can only pass on to the children and the grandchildren and generation to generation. So I think that is super important. And that is also the reason why we are here.
It is the reason we're here. That was beautiful. And you're absolutely right. So let's get down to, you kind of talked about why you decided to make the course. Alex touched on it. And both of you too, Diego and Sonny, you said the reasons that you did, because you're passionate about it and you want to help other people. And Sonny mentioned that he noticed that there's a lot of information out there. And it's boring. I've studied it and I'm just like, I can't look at this one more minute. So what they have done, you guys, is they've taken all of the information out there and they've boiled it down. And the 100 hours they spent together when they were not doing their presentations, when they were bonding with one another, that's what makes this series so great, because they really exchanged ideas and they also became friends. And I really believe that that shows through in any project you do. I think it's really important let me just go on my soapbox for 1 second. I think it's really important to do projects with people that you really respect and admire, and you think that they have good ethics and good morals. I have always lived that way. In New York, it's tough. So I had very few people around me, but Mindvalley and Lifebook has given me the people, like Sonny and Alex and Diego. They help me, I help them, and we're all rising together. And Yvonne and I as well. It makes it so beautiful to have a project. Yvonne and I have had that same exact experience with the Mindvalley Heroes and the Tribe Storytellers. We love doing it. We have so much fun. When we get on a call, just the two of us, we're like filled with energy afterwards, So guys, when you yourselves start to step forward into whatever path you're going to step forward on towards your financial freedom, make sure that you are working with the people that you're aligned with and that you have fun with. People forget that. It's important to also have fun, joke around. Sonny will show you his naughty sense of humor, but believe it or not, Alex has one too, but he tries to be all serious and professional for us. But I will attest that he has it, and so does Diego. So let me move to this question. Guys, give me a little overview of the course, and then if it's okay with you guys, we're going to take some questions. So tell us about the course. How long is the course? How boring is the course? All of this. Go ahead. Who wants to start?
I can go ahead. Is that okay, Sonny? You add on how funny is the course as well. Yeah, please. Your specialty.
No, I said boring. I said boring.
Which is not. Okay, let me give you a kind of the moral of the story. So starting with, I would like to start with this quote by Gandhi, which says, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," right? And no one else told us about money first, not in the school, not even our parents or teachers. maybe because they don't know how to do them. The society didn't help much. And instead, they keep selling us the wrong idea of what successful means by becoming consumer, buying nice houses, expensive car, or just to show off those people we dislike, right? That is the big concept here. On top of it, the smartest people in the world they are playing this marketing or sales skills games, trying to manipulate us to buy things that we don't need. The financial advisors as well from prestigious banks or institutions reach us with a huge conflict of interest in our money, right? So I can keep going on and on, but the moral of this story is that everything starts by having the awareness that no one else will care about your money more than you do. So there is no other choice but you to learn the knowledge and skill set to manage our money and finances. Okay, so financial field fundamental has been created and designed to achieve that. And it is part of the giving back and contribute to this wonderful community. We did it last year for the live book, and that is a membership. So we want to expand this actual impact to everybody here in the Mindvalley. So the webinars are for individuals who has just started in their financial journey, or they want to actually learn the proper way. We are going to start from the get ready first, right? So by knowing where you are right now, where you want to go, your net worth, and this kind of calculation that might be boring, but it's necessary to understand where you are and where you want to go. Then get healthy with your money as well, and then get wealthy, and finally getting financially free. So it's like living the legacy, living the knowledge you want to give to your kids as well. So the steps are well known, but not well traveled, as Sonny and Alex was mentioning. And there is three of us, actually, we went through all these steps, so it's proven. And many people before us also proven that this is the way path to getting financially free. So if you are committed to attend it and stick with us till the end, which is going to be a few months long for you to make sure that you're going to take the steps and take actions. We kind of promise you will be learn the proper way to manage your personal finances. So that includes call to action that won't make you feel overwhelmed, and actually will become your second nature, because everything is habits. Every single week we are going to meet up and then install new belief and new strategy as well. Okay, so the beauty of it is that the knowledge and skill set will last forever, not only for you, but beyond, for your kids, your grandkids, for your family and their families as well. So we do hope that all of you gain this knowledge and share it around you, so it will ripple for a generation to come. This is our wishes as well.
Awesome, Diego. And guys, that's the way that you create change. You find out, where are you now? Where do you want to go? You always need to know that when you're on any journey. You need to know where you're starting. You can't just put like the destination in Google. It's not going to tell you how to get there. You have to know, where are you now and where do you want to go? And then they are going to show you the steps you need to take to get there. And the steps are simple and any of us can execute them, right? So if you do exactly what they say, you will be able to move towards this financial freedom. And John Butcher actually said something interesting, and it really changed my thoughts. He said he thinks that every life booker should be affluent, because we're the kind of and Mindvalley person, because we're the kind of people who would actually use our money for good. So I personally never really cared about money. I've been in a fortunate position my whole life. You know, I grew up in America. My parents were teachers. We always had everything we needed. We didn't live huge, but we had everything we needed. And then, you know, my husband and I have everything that we need. We have a beautiful house. We could send our kids to college. So I personally never really cared about money. Plus, since I'm in the spiritual world, I kind of looked down on it, to be honest with you. I kind of was like, well, that's not spiritual if you care about money. But now John Butcher, and then these three guys have taught me, you know what, Kerry, if you had money, what would you do with it? I know exactly what I would do with it. I would help build schools in Africa or in South America. I would do a lot of good. I would help women and children. So we all need to change our mindset about money. That's the first step. Find out where you are, then we learn to change our mindset. And these guys are the three guys to do it. So Sonny, what about you? Give us a little bit, in 5 more minutes, we're going to go to questions because I really want you guys to get to know the community here. So Sonny, what do you have to say about the Financial Freedom Series? And then Alex, I would love you to give your 2 cents as well, or your 2 million cents, whatever it is, $2 million. All right, Sonny.
Well, again, I'm just going to highlight some of the things Diego said because he covered it pretty well. First is this is going to establish a weekly cadence over the next few months where we'll come together, we'll be thinking about our finances, and we're gradually going to change our mindset because that's the key to success. We have to change the way we think and feel about money. Money is a highly emotional subject, right? We like as Kerry said, it's also in many religious traditions looked down upon. Well, in the Christian particular worldview, there's the saying that the love of money is the root of all evil, which is often misquoted as money is the root of all evil. Well, that's not exactly the case. What they're trying to say is just don't let money be your God, right? It's a tool. And so I've always viewed money as a form of energy. Right? It's energy you can accumulate and then spend that energy in the other areas of your life to accelerate your success there. And so I was always trying to accumulate more and more energy in my life by accumulating enough money to be able to accomplish the goals I had in life. The other thing I want to bring out about that is every week we're going to give you an action item. And this is where it becomes important. You can listen to this all you want to. You can read books all you want to. You want podcasts, videos. It's all out there. You'll hear the same things everywhere you go. But until you actually internalize that and turn it into a habitual lifestyle, this is how we approach our money. Nothing's going to change. You will not change. And so everybody struggles with money. This is nothing new. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. If you are struggling with, getting a grip on your finances, this is true of everybody until they make that switch in their mind. I'm going to do something about this. And so we're going to be able to show you step by step, week by week, the things you should do and start thinking about or start actually implementing to make sure that you're on a totally different path with your money. So that's our goal. And so part of that, of course, is I guess as I come back to, it's all about your mindset, how you feel about money, how you think about money, and what you're willing to do with your money. Okay. The last thing I want to point out is this idea of change. Okay. We're all about change. We're all about changing ourselves. And we're all about making ourselves into a better version of ourselves. And so money in itself is not about us. Right? Self-improvement is not about money. But if you can master your money as a tool, as I said, as a source of energy in your life, then this self-improvement journey that we're all on becomes so much easier. So much easier. So, and the last thing I want to point out is this idea of the ripple effect. When you become good at something and you become an exemplar in some area of your life, you'll attract other people, right? Other people will notice, and they're going to come to you and say, hey, how did you do this? What made you what you are? Same thing is true in your financial life. So as you become mastering of your own finances and you go down this road and you become financially independent and all the things that we're going to teach you how to get to, other people will notice. And they're going to come to you and say, how did you do this? And what I want you to promise me to do is you'll tell them. You'll lead them along the same journey we're going to lead you along. Make that ripple effect. I don't care if it's your cousin, your brother, your children, your neighbor, your colleague at work, whoever it is, when they come and ask you, share this. Teach them how to do this. We can make this world a far better place. There is the other lasting misconception is that the world's wealth is a limited pie, and if we take some, someone else gets less. And that is absolutely false. If you get wealthy, that does not impact anyone else from getting wealthy, because wealth is generated by the way the world economy works. And so there's actually almost unlimited wealth available out there. That I don't want to say truly unlimited, but it's for our purposes, unlimited wealth. And so if you take control of your finances and you do this, first of all, don't feel guilty. You're not stealing money from anyone else. It's just available for those who understand how to do it. And then spread the knowledge of how to do it to everyone else. Because if the world gets wealthier, the world gets healthier. Right? The world gets better.
So many good things in there, and I just want to highlight two of them. So one is take action, and it's the same thing for everything I teach. Everybody knows all of these things, right? We know what we need to do for finances. We know what we need to do for our health. We know what we need to do for every area of our lives. We just don't take action. So really the thing we all need to learn is, how do I take action? And I'm really passionate about that. And the second thing is, it really strikes me right here when you say that, you know, when people come to you and they see change in you, that you can help them, because it's what Neil Donald Walsh said. Imagine if you became the very best version of yourself and you inspired others. Imagine that you're an inspiration to others. It's a really good feeling. It's a great feeling. And a leader is not a person who like forces their power over people. Neil Donald Walsh says a leader is someone who says, I'll go first. So you guys are going first, you know, you're going to you're going to teach yourself how to become financially free. And then you could teach all the people that you love, the people who come to you. Alex, do you have anything else to add before we jump over to the questions?
Yeah, I would just adding on top of everything that was said. Yeah, I definitely resonate with this idea. Like, wealth is definitely not a zero-sum game. This is a myth that for some reason still gets propagated in society. Like, if I have, it means that somebody else has less. A big rule, let's call it like that, right? One of the things that I wanted to mention is that what we also technically do in the series, right? I believe that I've personally read dozens of books on financial literacy, because I was very passionate about and I was very determined to understand this principle. So more or less all of these books are going to tell you exactly what we are going to tell you in this program. I personally have taken courses on financial education, financial literacy. From a $20 course to a $2,000 course, they will also tell you pretty much the same thing. So that's why we're saying that this path is very well known. So these are the steps. Now, how everyone implements them in their lives is a completely different type of story. What you also see with us is that we are actually your average Joes. We are not internationally famous. There's nothing famous about us. However, we achieved our own version of financial independence. Therefore, almost anybody, I believe that anyone that lives in a free country, preferably with a free market economy and some form of democracy in that particular country, can definitely achieve financial independence sooner rather than later. Right? So what we do also in the series is, like, we've distilled the steps. We explain a little bit in general each of the steps. Why is it important? Why do you need to do it? And then we also share how we personally implemented that step. And from our stories, you'll hear that there are nuances to these situations. So we explain the general concept, and then we'll also tell you how we personally do it. It's the same with Sonny and Diego as with myself. We will avoid talking about things that we personally don't do. So we will I personally will never talk about or give an advice on something that I myself have not implemented or done in my life. I don't want to just talk from theory. I want to give examples from the trenches, right? This is what happened to me. This is what I've done. So you will get all of these type of different variations in the course. We also live in different countries. So this is, if geography is one of your main concerns of why this doesn't work, that's not going to be the case. These steps are universal, and that's what I'm saying. Like, as long as you live in some form of democracy with a capitalistic market or a free market economy, I don't see why it will not work for you.
Awesome, Alex. And I agree with everything you say, except for the fact that you guys are not famous, because in my mind, you are. You're famous to me. All right. So thank you all. That was really exciting. And I'm just going to put a little pitch in for Ivan and I. I hope that you guys either come back in the middle of your series or at the end of your series to keep us up to date. We would love that. So keep that in your mind. That's a little seed I'm planting. Ivan?
Thank you, Kerry. And thank you so much, Alex, Sonny, and Diego, for sharing so much gold and insights so far. By the way, everybody on the chat is interacting a lot, asking a lot of questions, and also making a lot of comments for you guys. So it's going very, very well. And just before I throw out to people for asking you some questions, I would like just to comment on a few things that I've been taking notes on all of which is said here. And one thing that Sonny said is, for me, impacted me a lot, which is, so it's not just wanting to become wealthier, because depending on our relationship and how we actually see money, it really will affect everything else. So thank you, Sonny, for sharing that part of your life where you actually had these money traumas or money wounds. And there's actually a very famous author that is also a Mindvalley author, which is Ken Honda from Money EQ. And he talks about that. He talks about the money wounds that we have and traumas that even if we study a lot about financial literacy, at the end of the day, if emotionally we have this negative emotion to money, we cannot possibly attract it to ourselves because there's this conflict in us, right? So this is something that I believe you three will address this in your course as well, but also in Money EQ, this is which is a beautifully designed quest, by the way, and actually helps us to pass and heal those money wounds and open up this healthy relationship with money, which at the end of the day, like you said, Sonny, can be seen as energy. So well done. And just finishing with leadership, that's also a great topic about what you said, and picking up on one of my favorite leadership authors, which is John C. Maxwell. He says that leaders inspire other leaders. That's it. And they lead by example. They do not force other leaders, they lead by example, which I believe that's what you three here are doing so well. So thank you so much, guys, for sharing your knowledge and your time and your energy with all of us. This is the beauty of this community. All right, talking about community, let's go to the questions. And for the questions, so here's how it's going to be. I'll pass it on to you, to the people that made the questions, and I will give you the moment for you to unmute and ask the questions yourselves to Sonny, Alex, and Diego. So let's try to be brief because there are a lot of questions here and everybody wants to ask a question. Let's just ask the question, get the answer, and move on to another person, please. Let's respect everybody's time. And starting with one of our Tribe Storytellers members and also very energetic, Lawrence Tuazon, please, passing on to you, brother. Do your move, please.
Yes. Hello, guys. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited to what Sonny and Alex and Diego will give us in few weeks, in months. And just a short background. I was helped. Diego helped me last year, and Nessa, our friend Nessa, introduced me to Diego, and I was in government financial assistant last year, and Diego, me and my wife was coached by Diego, and we have this beautiful realization about money and everything. And and after 1 year, I can say that I am now on my way to financial freedom. And it's so exciting that Diego plus Alex plus Sonny, my goodness, what will happen to me? What will happen to us, right? So thank you guys for sharing your passion, your experience, and your knowledge with us in this coming weeks. And my question for you guys, either Alex or Sonny or Diego can answer this is, I think the vision beyond that vision of being being financially free is important. And after reaching financial freedom, guys, what is next for you? What's next there? Because I think that's very important. And being financial freedom, it also has this responsibility. It's like superpower for me. I see it like that. So can you share some of your thoughts here?
I'll go first. Yeah. Like Alex pointed out earlier, the goal, the real benefit of financial freedom is you have bought back your time, right? Now you do not have to rent your time out to someone else in order to live. So that's the biggest thing. But for me, what I'm doing now is this, right? Now I've achieved my freedom. I want you to achieve your freedom. I want everybody to achieve their freedom. And so that's kind of what I'm doing with my time. A few other things. I've got some other interests in life that I pursue as well. But as far as something that I love to do, this is becoming a work of love. So I'm enjoying this.
Let me add on this. I think money is something, it's not everything, but it's super important in order to have quality of life. It's super interconnected with different categories in life, right? The health and fitness, you have more time, you can dedicate more time to your body, as well as spend more in nutrition, as well as you have more money in actually choose the job you really want to pursue. It's not because you need, but because you want. The other thing is you have more time to spend with your parents, with your kids, with your friends, buy some lunch for them, some drink for them. So money allows you to do so many things in life, and also direct to the life vision. So for us, we spent, I think, the whole year, the whole 2021 last year on contributions, because we are allowed to do so. We have the freedom to do that, and the knowledge that the members as well needed. So we spend tons of time to make this contribution, right? And that is part of our growth contribution, is something that gives us a lot of fulfillment. So when you reach that stage, that when the money is not an issue anymore, you can spend in donations, you can spend your time to help others and knowledge to help others as well, and leave your legacy with the knowledge, right? So I think reaching that point is not the destination, but it's one milestone that we think we could have. And we're doing this for the Lifebook and Mindvalley because we know that you guys have the right mindset, that are super achievers, as well as they want to improve and do well for the world. So I believe with this skill set and knowledge will speed up this process, and together we can make a better world in different ways. Yeah. Thank you, Lawrence.
Yeah. Just to build on that a little bit, how I'll just to build also on this idea of getting back your time. So how I learned it was like at the beginning of anybody's journey, your time is worthless. Then your time starts to be cheap. Then eventually you want to move to a point where your time is very expensive. And the last element will be your time is not for sale. So for me, that idea with time is not for sale, it means that I can get to choose where and how I invest my time. And which it's a different way of saying you cannot buy me. As in, if I want to do something, then I do it. So I believe that this is a phenomenal form of inner freedom, that you get to have control over your time, and then you also have control over your decision without having to have you don't want money to be just another worry in your head, especially when it's something that actually can be fixed and it's not that complicated to fix it. Now, just to answer the thing with what do you do next, in my case, like a full transparency, I was doing very well till about 3 weeks ago, where my financial freedom got put on pause due to external events. So I achieved my numbers via real estate, investment in real estate. Real estate for me was mostly in Ukraine, which is currently in open conflict. And there's an invasion happening, which basically put a freeze on all of those things. So for me, at least, the next step is to achieve financial freedom and independence again. But the cool thing about that is, which also gives me joy, is that once you learn, once you've mastered the skill, once you have the understanding, the mindset, the tools, when you have some form of inner insight and inner belief that it was not down to random luck that you achieved the freedom in the first place, and then you have the awareness and the knowledge to say like, yeah, I can do it again, and I will do it again. So, yeah.
Wow. Brilliant, brilliant answers. Thank you, Sonny, Diego, and Alex. Just getting your last comment, Alex. I'm ready to reach financial freedom again. So if you did it once, why not twice, right? So there you go. This is a great example of resilience, persistence, and actually believing in your skills. And you have done it before, Alex, so you will do it again. We're sure of that, man. Okay, let's go on. Let's go, and we're almost finishing, but let's still give some an opportunity for some of the people to ask the question. So I would like to bring up Zoraida. Zoraida was also one of our interviewees in one of our previous calls. Zoraida, you can ask a question, and I would ask our gentleman, instead of all of you three just answering the question, please, one of you answers the question, and then we move on to another question so we can actually make it more time for people to ask you questions. So feel free. Zoraida, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. I recently walked away from a 30-year career in finance to feed my soul. So what are some of the ways that, as a holistic cancer coach, that I can generate passive income? And I want to do this from anywhere around the world to have financial freedom. And right now I'm contemplating creating and co-creating an online course.
Great question. Gentlemen, one of you, please.
I'll take a stab at it, and the answer is not going to be very specific because we can certainly discuss that when we have more time. There's not enough time here to talk about different ways to generate passive income, but there are just many ways. Alex chose the route of rental properties, so you can bring constant stream of passive income from those. There are other ways using the securities markets in terms of dividends, or even using options and things like that. That's a very deep subject, Zoraida, so I hope that you will be patient with us. We'll be touching on these things, but it's way too detailed for us to give a specific answer to you today. But trust me, there are ways. There are certain ways to do it.
Well, I'll join your series tomorrow, so thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you, Sonny, for the answer, and thank you, Zoraida, for the question as well, because this is a common question: how can we generate passive income? And like Sonny said, this is actually very broad, and it's better to wait for their series to come. All right, let's go to another person, and I would like to bring up live Elise. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Well, I just want to start with gratitude, because absolutely, like, this needs to be talked about. People need to hear this, and it is so deeply important. And I just want to say thank you, and that I'm so deeply grateful first. My question is that I personally have experienced a lot of women not being in this space. So it took a really, 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 really long time for me to get in. Alex, I would love to know, in terms of females in financial freedom, what your experience has been.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the question?
Like, have you seen a lot of women in the space? Have you noted, like, there's 3 of you on the call that are men that are teaching this series. So I'm just curious if you've experienced any other women in this space, or if it's just been men.
Yeah, so in the community, we have also a lot of women, and there were women that were talking and giving examples of how they increase their income. We actually have one phenomenal member right here in the call, Marilyn. She also helped us with some of the sessions. I believe that, yeah, technically the finance space is a male-dominated, in a way, environment. I don't see why, personally, because in the sense that this is not like it's not a gender thing. Like knowing about money is not a gender thing. So I would definitely love to see. I would definitely love to hear more examples of women that achieved their financial independence and how they did, because there is, to my experience, there is a certain different way that it's being done. So, for example, my wife also loves to learn about money, but she has a different take on it and a take on the tools and how she does it than I would do it. Right. So, yeah. I'll leave it at that.
I'll add a little bit to that. It turns out that, that again, there are cultural gender norms that you see expressed here, right? Men go into numbers and fields like that, and women don't. I'm working very hard personally over all my life to try to change that. But I will say that the evidence is out there very strongly that women are better investors than men, but women don't do it. Okay, so that's something we can change. Matter of fact, one of my friends that I met in this field, she actually wrote a book, and it's a very interesting book. It's called Warren Buffett Invests Like a Girl. And it's true. So that's the reason he's so successful. He actually takes he's not as risky. And men tend to be daredevils, and they take excess risk on, which is often can be good, can be bad. Women are a little more rational and level-minded about it, and that tends to be successful. So yeah, there are lots of women that participate very actively in our series on Lifebook, and we certainly want to see the same thing here. And let's say Marilyn is one of our. It's actually there's 4 amigos, I guess you could say. Marilyn is certainly one of us. So.
And you'll see one more thing I'll add to this. Also, how we talk about the subjects. We come at the subjects also from different angles. We'll tell you about some historical elements. We'll try to distill it as much as possible. Diego has a more numbers approach to the subject, so he'll bring out a lot of statistics and showing you why this is actually going to work out mathematically. I personally am a more fan of psychology, so I love to talk about psychological insights, emotional insights that you may or may not see in your journey. So we try to give different come at the process from different angles. So if you're a numbers person, then you will like it. If you're not a numbers person, then you will like it. If you're more of a holistic person, then you will like it, because this is the point that we are trying to come at the subject from different angles.
To add on of that as well, we have different character, we have different approach, as well as we are living in different continents. I'm in Asia, Sunny is in the US, Alex is in Europe. We are well diversified in that sense as well. And as far as we see the participant rate, I think women was higher, way higher than the men. And based on my experience as well, women are more able to ask for help, be open for new ideas, and absorb faster. This is something I personally experience. So I really invite the women here to attend, which you have to really understand the financials, you like it or not. So in this society, in this new world, everybody has to have this common sense, which is financials. We should not rely on the other person. It's actually giving us the husband and the partner to discuss more deeply how you are actually wants to build up your future with your kids, with your family as well, and it's expanding as well the knowledge between each other. So I believe this is something that is going to give abundance in many ways. And I do hope to see you in the FFS series, Financial Fundamentals series, starting from tomorrow.
Wow, amazing guys. Sonny, Alex, and Diego, thank you so much for answering our community's questions. And we're about to finish this call. Firstly, let me once again thank you in the name of this community for your ability and for taking the time to share your knowledge, your experience, your time with everybody here to make everything better, right? So this is what you said. I picked up on some of the things, and I don't recall who said it, but if money is this energy and can be our friend and our tool. If we do good, if we have more money, we have the ability to do even more good with that. Sadly, the opposite is also true, but the great thing about the Mindvalley community is we're all good people here, and we tend to be even better as we share and we shine our light onto others. So thank you so much, everybody. And thank you so much for everybody for being present here and for interacting, for putting your questions here. And well, feel free to jump on these gentlemen series starting from tomorrow. And to wrap up this call, well, Kerry, I'm calling you up. Thank you a lot, everybody.
This has been so amazing, and it makes me so happy to share this series with you guys and for you guys to get to know the three amigos like I do. They're really great guys, and they're really doing it from a place of contribution. They want to help. They're in a position to help. And if you follow the steps that they're giving you, you too could be financially free. I really loved how these golden threads go through all of these guys, right? So there's one from America, Singapore, and then Romania, all over the world. It's a web of financial freedom experts and different ages, different backgrounds, different religions, different races. And meanwhile, they're all the same, right? And they were all really pushed towards wanting financial freedom because when they were growing up, they didn't have it. And I really resonated with what everybody said. I love how Diego wanted to master the money mindset. I love how Alex wanted to do what he wanted with the person, the people he wanted when he wanted. That's really powerful. Just that's freedom. That's ultimate freedom, isn't it? And Sonny really brought home that idea that money is just a tool. Money is energy. So the exchange that we have of information and the exchange of money, it's all the same. So please come to their series. I know you will love them as much as I do. I'm Kerry Fisher. Thank you for joining the Mindvalley Heroes. And please join them tomorrow. It is at 9 a.m. Eastern time, EDT. I have no idea what it is in the other time zones because everything is changing now and I'm already confused and now I'm even more confused. So check out the Connection app. Actually, Diego, could you drop the link right here in the chat for us so that everybody can join tomorrow? And if you have the time zones too, I'm Kerry Fisher. Thanks, guys.